The cyborg revolution has begun. I know it's fair to say that since the dawn of cell phones, the cyborg revolution probably already began. We became attached to these digital devices, which networked us all together. But now Elon Musk says his Neuralink startup has implanted a chip in its first human brain. That's right. A human being has been chipped with Neuralink. They are now wired in. He says that the first technology will be telepathy, allowing people to communicate very quickly. Now, I have questions about this, and of course, there are a lot of implications. I don't know that we can stop what's coming. I mean that sincerely, and it is quite worrisome, like dominoes falling over. Especially now with the AI race, no one is willing to back down. It's an arms race. We build nuclear weapons. We know what they're capable of. Everybody else wants to have them too. All of a sudden, now everybody's got their finger on the trigger, and the planet could be destroyed. The same thing with AI. We know what AI is capable of. We know how dangerous it will be. Yet everybody sits there saying, if I don't do it, someone else will. And so they decide, I would rather have the keys to this machine than someone else. And that's true. It's a fact. If Google stops, Microsoft or whoever else, they're going to make their own. If the U.S. bans AI and says we can't do this, China will make it, Russia will make it, and they will use this powerful weapon against us. So, welcome to the dawn of a new era. One in which I think humanity may end up something like the Borg from Star Trek, networked in and broken-brained people. But let's talk about this. Let's read the story first. CNN reports Elon Musk's controversial startup Neuralink has implanted a chip in a human brain for the first time, the billionaire said in a post on his X platform late Monday. Musk's announcement could mark an important milestone for Neuralink's efforts to usher potentially life-transforming technology out of the lab and into the real world. But he offered few details, and it's unclear from Musk's post how significant of a scientific advancement the implantation represents. The company had received approval to study the safety and functionality of its chip implant and surgical tools. Initial results show promising neuron spike detection. The world's richest man and Neuralink founder said on X, the social media platform he owns. Neuralink's first product would be called telepathy, he said in another post, adding that its initial users will be people who have lost the use of their limbs. Imagine if Stephen Hawking could communicate faster than a speed typist or auctioneer. That is the goal, he wrote. Whoa. All right. I got to be honest with you, my friends. To all the people out there who are paralyzed in some way, they probably shed a tear at this news. They are probably begging Elon Musk, help me. I don't blame him. It's kind of amazing. I mean, this is what Neuralink technology is currently working on. And it is very rudimentary at this stage, but it could be amazing. And I don't want to start off just by being absolutely negative on this technology. I think it's fair to say Elon Musk is going to perform one of the greatest feats in medical technology with the implementation of Neuralink and all the scientists that are working on it and engineers. There exists a man. I mean, I'll put it this way. I've seen so many videos. I watch action sports. Dude try to pull off, a front flip on a dirt bike. X Games, big air stuff. Crashes. Partially paralyzed from the waist down. He has some movement in his limbs, but he can't walk anymore. Elon Musk steps up and says, I have this device we've been working on. We can surgically implant it, reconnecting the nerves, and you can learn to walk again, and you can have your life back. There are prominent athletes that I've been a fan of my whole life who have suffered nerve damage or paralysis, and I wonder what they could do if given this technology. Where we start? Communication. Everybody's familiar with Stephen Hawking and how he would communicate.
Now let's talk about Elon Musk. He put up a post a few hours ago on Twitter, now known as X. And this is what he said. The first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday and is recovering well. Initial results show promising neuron spike detection. For the uninitiated, here's what it means. Elon Musk has just put a computer chip in a human brain. His startup called Neuralink has started human trials. Musk co-founded Neuralink in 2016. 8 years later, they have their first human test subject. This is a big milestone. It will allow us to see proof of concept. And what is a concept? A brain-computer interface, or BCI, brain-computer interface. The technology will allow people to control machines with their thoughts. Musk had a follow-up post. He says the first product is called telepathy. It will allow you to control your phone or computer just by thinking. And through them, you can control other devices. If it works, it could be a game changer, especially for people with some form of paralysis. They could benefit immensely from a technology like this. Musk says they will be the first recipients. Here's what he wrote, and I'm quoting. Imagine if Stephen Hawking could communicate faster than a speed typist or auctioneer. That is the goal. It's an ambitious dream. But how does the technology work? Let me take you through what we know so far. A computer chip and other electronics will be inserted into the brain. This is the link in Neuralink. It's reportedly about the size of a few coins. The chip will be battery operated. It can be charged wirelessly, so no need to worry about replacing it, which would be hard anyway because it will be inserted directly into the brain. So replacement would be a problem. And this insertion will happen by a special surgical robot. They will put this chip into your brain. Yes, a robot, not a trained neurosurgeon. This is because one part of the link has wires directly hooked up to your brain. It is so intricate, apparently it cannot be done by humans, so you need a robot to do it. These wires or threads monitor your brain activity. They will read your thoughts and pass them on to the chip. The chip will then send a signal to an app on your phone or computer. That is how the setup works. It may sound complicated, but it's not exactly revolutionary. The first device like this came out all the way back in 2004. There are other companies that have been doing this, working on the brain-computer interface for years to get your brain to talk directly to a computer and get machines moving. Older devices let people control a robotic limb with their mind. So it has been done before. Then what makes Neuralink special? The sheer volume of brain signals that it wants to capture, that is what's special. The other brain chips that exist are slower. They may not allow for what Elon Musk wants to do. Because helping people without limbs is just the beginning. He eventually wants an advanced brain-computer interface. Imagine driving a smart car with just your thoughts, or playing video games with your mind, or accessing all the information on the internet through your brain. The possibilities are endless. There's a reason Musk is calling this first product telepathy. It sets the tone for what is to come. Eventually, we could reach new heights of human capabilities, humans augmented with machine parts that are mind-controlled, like a cyborg in a sci-fi movie. But of course, there are drawbacks and threats too. Like almost every new technology, this too will be open to abuse. Imagine someone hacking your brain chip, reading your thoughts, controlling your robotic limbs. It's a terrifying prospect. And someone will likely manage to do it, so we need to be cautious. Guard against the potential risks while exploring the potential benefits. Such brain chips may help millions of people, and Elon Musk's company has taken a crucial step towards this. Now we wait and watch. We see how the human test subject reacts to the Neuralink chip. The next few weeks will tell us how far along the technology is and how long until you get such a chip in stores near you.
Elon Musk's controversial Neuralink is ready to test its brain chip implant on humans.
Elon Musk's brain implant startup Neuralink is recruiting patients for a clinical trial.
In this video, I'm going to break down all the latest advancements in brain-computer interfaces and bionic vision, from the revolutionary technology to the complex surgery it requires, as well as its unfortunate complications. And I'm going to talk about why this technology will change life as we know it. Elon Musk has publicly announced that his startup Neuralink and its cutting-edge brain implant technology will aim to restore vision and cure blindness.
The first two applications we're going to aim for in humans are restoring vision.
And this is not some future projection. This is reality now. Neuralink recently received FDA approval to begin human clinical trials, and in 2024, Neuralink will be implanting their microcomputers into human brains on real live people. And they'll be using automated surgical robots to perform the surgery. Neuralink's technology and brain-computer interfaces will change humanity forever. So let's get you up to speed with what's been going on behind the scenes. By the way, I'm Dr. Michael Chua. I'm a board-certified ophthalmologist with Puente Hills Eye Care, and I make videos to help you see better, look better, and feel better too. So let's take a step back. Implantable microchips, robotic surgery, brain-computer interfaces, what exactly are we talking about here? If you can see me talking to you right now, it's because there are light waves coming from your screen onto your retina, or the thin layer of tissue in the back of your eyes that detects light signals. Our retinas take these light signals, then convert them into electrical signals, which can get sent along the optic nerve to the visual cortex in the back part of our brains. So if any component along this pathway is malfunctioning, perhaps a cataract or clouding of the lens in your eyes is preventing light from hitting your retina, or maybe glaucoma is causing damage to the optic nerve. If any portion of the visual pathway isn't working, then we will have problems in our vision. And one of the fundamental concepts of how our visual system is designed is what's called the retinotopic map. What this means is that our brains organize information about where things are in the visual world around us. So each neuron in the visual cortex, or the part of the brain that's responsible for our sight, each neuron will fire based on a small part of the visual field, which is called its visual receptive field. And the way the map is set up, it's inverted. So, for example, if you see something here on the right side of your visual field, then a neuron will fire here on the left side of your brain. And then if you see something on the left side of your visual world, then a neuron here on the right side of your brain will fire. To really illustrate this point, look at this figure from a paper published in 2017. We're looking at the visual cortex of a mouse brain, and we're seeing the mouse's brain activity light up as the mouse watches a dot moving around. The way the mouse's brain set up is like our brains too. It's inverted. So when the dot moves up, the bottom part of the brain fires. And then when the dot moves down, the top part of the brain fires. With this information, scientists can basically map out each point in our visual world with a specific location in our brains. The reason why this knowledge is so powerful is because, in theory, if you can stimulate specific neurons in our visual cortex in just the right pattern, you can recreate the experience of seeing the world around us. For example, if you stimulate neurons in the brain in the pattern of a triangle in just the right location, you can have a patient see a triangle. Or maybe if you wanted them to see a smiley face, you can do that too. And that's basically the premise of these computer vision.
The elites need your consent to conspire against you. The secret has always been known by the few. The benevolent spiritual leaders of the world and the evil ones know one thing, and benevolent ones have been telling you for a long time. They do not want you to know this. That is, this is a holographic reality, where the mind dictates matter. And since mind over matter, that means it is not a natural physical world. It is an observer-dependent world, as quantum physics now suggests. God is dreaming you, and if you become awake in the dream, you can control it. As man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Or, as Hermes Trismegistus' tomb revealed to the world, as above, so below. As within, so without. The cabal knows we live in a simulation. Therefore, they use predictive programming to lead you to their end. As they know that this is not a natural physical world. The book Morals and Dogmas of the 33-degree Freemason Albert Pike says it all. The blind force of the people is a force that must be economized and also managed, as the blind force of steam, lifting the ponderous iron arms and turning the large wheels, is made to bore and rifle the cannon, and to weave the most delicate lace. It must be regulated by intellect. Masses are a fierce power. But Albert Pike and such people of the cabal think that masses do not possess the intellect the elites do. Therefore, they feel the need to guide the sheep to ends they seem fit. But the elites cannot do anything without your consent. Your power is necessary for their rule over you. To manifest something major in the collective reality, the consent of the collective is required. This is why there is so much propaganda. Politicians repeat lies again and again, as they know the power of repetition. They know that if they repeat something enough times, a seed will be planted in unsuspecting minds. And these unsuspecting minds will give their consent out of their naivety. There is nothing to fear. If this video makes you fearful, then know that they do not hold power over you unless you give it. Because if they did, they would have taken over the world already, in an absolute totalitarian grip, as this cabal is ancient. Few in numbers but mighty in knowledge. They need your consent to take over the world because your mind creates the collective reality. They cannot do it without you, so the deeper context of this video sets you free from this illusion. You are the operand power in your own reality. And collectively we can do anything if we realize our power. But some egotistical people have rigged the system and created it in such a way that they can maintain their power for eternity. And they can only do that by keeping the masses ignorant about their inherent divine power. This is a simulation of the mind, a dream in the mind of the all, as the Hermetic teachings suggest in the book The Kabbalion. And all of us can use this divine power of speech and mind to manifest whatever we want in our personal life, and collectively as human race. As the Hermetic maxim says, man is given the gift of speech and mind which makes him equal to immortals. This is why the powers that be are hellbent on keeping this information away from you. By endless propaganda, wars, deliberate economic collapses, to cause instability in the world. So that you will never get out of survival mode and ask the deeper questions. Therefore, this video is to set your mind free from all the dogmas, manipulation and predictive programming that they have done to you. This video is about taking your power back in your personal life and doing your part in the collective by bringing about a bright future for humanity collectively. Consequently, these few families of the elites who have been ruling for a long time will rule no more. Because you will have withdrawn your consent to give them what they want by refusing to play their games of war and endless false flags. If every soldier wakes up and refuses war, who is going to fight then? Don't you see? They need you to carry out their dirty work. Since their plan is not harmonious with what is good for humanity, they need to manipulate the masses into agreeing to it subconsciously. As Neville Goddard said that I would be a fool to tell you that this law does not work negatively, it does. The Golden Rule. Neville warned us to always apply the Golden Rule. That is, do unto others what you would like to be done unto you. The reason being, if you imagine evil for another and they do not accept your suggestion subconsciously, it comes back to you. For example, if you wish illness upon another, and that other person has strong beliefs about their health, they lead a healthy life that fills them up with vitality, they will reject your suggestion subconsciously, as they do not relate with the consciousness of disease. And because you violated the Golden Rule, you will suffer the consequences you wished for another. Therefore, the cabal desperately wants you to agree to their plans to avoid the consequences of the Golden Rule. This is why they always reveal their plans beforehand in movies, books, music, and news in covert ways. To pass it quietly to your subconscious mind. If you do not consent, their plans will be their ruin. This is why they want to keep everybody ignorant of the real knowledge of this reality, so that you may stay forever subservient to them. How to break free from the simulation. To break free from it you need to understand the age-old and simple truth. As man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This phrase put me on this path of self-discovery, which I found from these 3 books, As Man Thinketh by James Allen, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. By the way, you can read these books in about 40 minutes on short form. Short form extracts the most valuable bits out of popular nonfiction books, while preserving the integrity of the teachings meticulously. It is the best way to 10x your knowledge in a very short time. Short form even provides a 1-page summary that you can read in a couple of minutes to decide if that book interests you. As Man Thinketh, Think and Grow Rich, and The Power of Your Subconscious Mind are perfect books as an appetizer for your knowledge cravings about who we are, and get you out of survival mode. As they are not too outlandish from the existing knowledge level of the masses when it comes to metaphysics. And they provide a perfect platform for you to get into the profound work of Neville Goddard that will truly change your life. But to understand the cabal, you need to read the books of David Icke. Be warned, however, David Icke is for those who dare to learn the absurdity of things in this reality. He is for advanced students only. How do I know this is a simulation? In a natural and physical world, coincidences should be the exception and not the norm. Yet for the past year I have been seeing the repeating numbers 1111 at a frequency that I cannot ignore anymore. Now, there are many interpretations to why it happens, and honestly, I do not care for others' interpretations. To me, this exhibits a glitch in the matrix. I have seen it way too many times to the point that I am convinced that it is my higher self telling me, stay awake, don't get lost in the illusion. Despite teaching the law and sharing spiritual teachings with you guys on this channel, I do still very frequently find myself lost in the illusion. That is the nature of this simulation. Immersion to the point of complete forgetfulness of who we really are. So I guess, my inner man has taken it upon himself to show me via 1111, to come back to the knowing of, I am. Too many or frequent coincidences show no coincidence at all. Existence of black magic screams mind over matter. Shamanism, black magic, voodoo, and such practices have been going on for centuries if not millennia. Now, contrary to the modern scientism interpretation, I do not believe that our ancestors were primitive. But the opposite is true. Modern science doesn't like to admit it as it messes with their uniformitarianism theories. Great pyramids of Egypt are one of the irrefutable examples of our ancestors being far more sophisticated than we give them credit for, both spiritually and technologically. All this to say is, shamans and black magicians of the old were not intellectually primitive to have been practicing something to this day that is not supposed to work according to science. You see, a true magus knows the reality of the invisible ether. A formless substance that permeates our reality. Napoleon Hill talked about it in Think and Grow Rich. This ether is a neutral field full of potential. And it responds to the commands of a soul that is filled with a burning desire to achieve something. The quantum field of infinite potential that responds to the observer in scientific terms. A true Magi knows that this reality is an illusion, being animated by the intentions of a soul. Whatever is strongly intended, appears from this infinite potential in flesh. The fact that magic and dark arts exist to this day is a testament to them having some substance. It works, otherwise man loses interest unless he is insane. That is the nature of man. What even is the placebo effect? So we can't explain how a person healed from an illness even though we gave him fake medicine. Let's call it the placebo effect. I mean, this term explains nothing. Isn't placebo effect one of the best examples of mind over matter? Where a person believes that the drug they have been given will heal them. This strong intention is presented to the ether of unlimited potential. The ether then responds with healing. The book The Power of Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy presents a similar observation. Every religion and faith have people who went to their respective spiritual healer, temple, mosque, church, you name it, and they were healed. Who did the healing? Because the gods of all religions in their fundamental definition can't be the right one simultaneously. Do you see the flaw in the plot? The placebo effect and faith healing puts us in this odd predicament where we must accept the notion that this reality might not be so consistent and natural. Mind over matter is the only answer. Therefore, if mind over matter is true, proving the objectivity of this reality is a problem as complex as the string theory. Perhaps impossible to solve. And could it be that the modern science is grappling and struggling with proving gravity, string theory, dark matter, reconciling quantum physics with Newtonian and such advanced theories, because they are based on the false premise that we live in a natural, solid world? This is how predictive programming works. Rituals are very important to the elites as rituals are programming templates. They can induce a state of receptiveness in the masses if done onto them, or in the practitioner himself to manifest his desire. Here is an example from the 2012 Olympic ceremony, related to the virus sham that happened in 2019, and it will all make sense. Rituals use subliminal to seep into the subconscious mind of the unsuspecting victim. Meaning, the victim doesn't know he or she is taking part in a ritual or predictive programming, an event to come in the future for the masses to suffer from. They need to keep it artistic and subliminal to slip through the conscious minds of the masses and plant the seed. And so, they use the powers of hundreds, thousands, millions of unsuspecting minds to manifest their agenda into our collective reality. You give your consent in your ignorance. This is why you are not supposed to know this, or anything of value about this reality. This is why the school education is a joke. News are full of fear, because a depressed and scared mind is the perfect vessel for mind control. And religions are the perfect tool to keep you spiritually enslaved on top of intellectual enslavement. For one reason alone, keep the masses subservient. Why they don't want you to know this? Since they go against the will of the Creator and are in open rebellion against it, they need energy. And other than the divine energy of the Creator that is freely available for the ones who are connected to it, you the immortal are the energy source. You provide them with the energy they desperately need to keep on ruling over this world. They need to manipulate the immortal into believing he is a tiny speck in the infinite cosmos. Life is inherently meaningless. Pursuit of pleasure is all there is. If you don't obey my God, you will burn in hellfire for eternity. You see, once they have taken away your true identity as the immortal, you are pretty much done for. As you lose the ability to be your own source, via active co-creation with divine, you can then be programmed to be anything. A perfect pawn, who is a source of divine energy, but he is not using it for himself. It is being used by people like Albert Pike to direct the course of human future towards the end they deem desirable for them. The immortal thinks death is the end, so he fears it, and is controlled by those who know more. Individual reality versus collective reality. Collective reality is under the control of the few, as the many are incapable of thinking for themselves, and picking out the manipulative tactics of the powers that be. Examples are the ongoing sham wars right this very moment. Everybody with a modicum of critical thinking will see that these wars are simply cruel and unnecessary. Wars are only about money and power. It has nothing to do with religion, nationalism or any noble cause they feed you to go along with their ploy. Yet men go and die for wrong reasons, thinking they are doing the right thing. Pawns of the elites are no other than the masses. Therefore, collective reality will always go in the direction that benefits the few and hurts the many, until the masses begin to wake up. This is happening right now at a rate the world is not ready for. Everything is available for the seeker on the internet to figure out what is going on. Therefore, a lot of people are finding out. But let me make it simple for you. If you stop participating in the games of the elites and your government and stop relying on them, they will cease to exist in their current form. Therefore, the best way to save the collective is to save the individual. Start with yourself. Apply the law of assumption and make the perfect life for yourself and people dear to you. Once you begin to do great, others will follow you, because they will get curious as to how you are doing better than them. And that is your chance to spread your light. The ether that permeates this existence is neutral. It will give you whatever you project on it. It is a creative field of infinite potential waiting on the individual to project an intention on it. So use your imagination to manifest from the ether all the lovely things you want. And in doing so, you will be releasing yourself from the fate of the collective. And you will definitely pull some individuals from the collective to follow you. It's a playground. This is a divine drama. You are in a play, a game, an experience. You are here to learn the gift of speech and mind which makes you equal to immortal, as Hermes said. You are born into the illusion of a mortal human, and the objective of the game is to awaken the immortal within, by using the gift of speech and mind. To simplify it, applying the law of assumption in your daily life with your words and your imagination. Once you master it, you break free from the limitations of the mortal. Consequently, you have now become equal to the immortals. This is when the promise is given to you. That is, you do not come back to this game of mortality on earth again. You have graduated. You have finished this game, so you move on to the next game. Therefore, do not get lost in the illusions of race, nationality, religion, politics, wars and all other distractions in this world. It's all created by the powers that be to apply the age-old tactic of divide and rule. A minority can only rule over the majority if the majority is divided and ignorant. Exercise your gift, which gets you closer to your real self, the immortal. So, awaken, O immortal. The time has come.
You are no longer just a human, and I will explain why. Imagine for a moment that everything you believe to know about yourself is about to be transformed. Welcome to a journey beyond the ordinary, beyond what is tangible. Today, we will not only explore but experience a profound and revolutionary truth. You are much more than just a human being. You are an essence, a force, a presence that transcends all labels and limitations that the world has tried to impose on you. Right now, I invite you to open your mind and your heart to an extraordinary possibility. The possibility that within you resides an entire universe of unexplored potential, a vast and powerful consciousness that defies all conventional definitions. Today we will delve deeply into this understanding, unveiling layers of your existence that you may have never considered before. Prepare to embark on an adventure that goes beyond the physical, beyond the mental, into a realm where the word human is just the beginning of the story. Are you ready to discover who you truly are? Then let's begin this journey of discovery and transformation. In our society, we are often defined by external labels, our name, profession, place of origin, age. But do these labels truly capture the essence of who we are? Today, we invite you to reflect on what constitutes your true identity, one that transcends all superficial tags. Think about how you present yourself to the world. I am a lawyer. I am from New York. I am 30 years old. These statements describe aspects of your experience, but do they really define who you are at the deepest core of your being? As philosopher Alan Watts said, "We are not what happens to us, we are what we choose to become." True identity is something that resides within, immune to the changes of time and space. The labels we adopt and those assigned to us can be limiting, keeping us trapped in boxes of expectations and perceptions. They can prevent us from exploring aspects of ourselves that do not fit into these labels. When we free ourselves from these self-imposed limitations, we begin to experience the freedom to explore the vast ocean of potential that is our true nature. So, who are you beyond your name, your profession, your place of origin, your age? This is a question that invites introspection, a dive into a process of self-discovery that reveals the richness and complexity of your true self. Respond in the comments, who you are. At the heart of our journey is self-awareness, the key to resilience in the face of life's challenges. Let's explore the crucial difference between experiencing anxiety and being anxiety. This distinction is fundamental to understanding how we can face difficulties without getting lost in them. Imagine anxiety as a wave in the ocean. Experiencing anxiety is recognizing the wave, feeling its strength, but knowing that you are the ocean, vast, deep, and not defined by a single wave. Being anxiety, on the other hand, is like identifying with the wave, forgetting that you are the ocean. As Eckhart Tolle said, "You are not your thought. You are the thinker of the thought." Self-awareness allows us to observe our emotions and thoughts without becoming them. The role of the inner observer in moments of difficulty is like a lighthouse on a stormy night. When facing challenges, this observer helps us maintain perspective, reminding us that we are more than our immediate circumstances. This perspective is the essence of resilience, the ability to face storms without being swept away by them. Developing self-awareness and resilience is like building a safe harbor within yourself, a place of calm and clarity where you can take refuge and gain strength, regardless of what is happening around you. It is an ongoing process of turning inward, recognizing and honoring your true nature. Life is filled with challenges, but how we face them defines our journey. There is a
A double-minded man is unstable in his ways. Neville Goddard. A man based in God is God based in man. The entirety of your life's experience unfolds as a direct outcome of your creations in each moment. Life exists within the framework of space, time, and matter, and above these fundamental elements, your reality takes shape. This reality is composed of psychological, spiritual, and imaginal components that we'll explore in detail in Chapter 1 of this video. But before we delve into that, I want you to reflect on the fact that you are the one making decisions, identifying with thoughts, feelings, and assumptions. The inner dialogue you hear is yours alone. It's your personal connection to symbols and experiences. It can be challenging to grasp the concept that you are the creator of your own reality, especially if you've grown up in a religious context that emphasizes worshipping a god external to yourself. Neville Goddard's teachings prompted a significant shift in my perspective when he suggested replacing the word God with imagination. This revelation elevated my understanding of how my thoughts translate into tangible outcomes. I started to notice the rapid manifestation of my reactions and began to perceive the world in a profoundly different light. Acting differently and undergoing these changes led me to the realization that I am the sole orchestrator of my life from a higher vantage point. The Bible, viewed by Neville as a psychological drama, began to make sense to me for the first time, and it dawned on me that the search for God is perpetual until one recognizes their own reflection. While acknowledging that there's more depth to this conversation, the fundamental truth remains: we govern our focus. Once we direct our focus, we enter into an agreement that invites perceived external forces to intervene. However, it's crucial to remember that we retain the power to halt any intervention that doesn't align with our well-being. I'm planning to create a playlist dedicated to exploring Jesus Christ and my perspective on who Christ is in the present tense, given that Christ is a central theme on this channel. Stay tuned for that discussion. Chapter 1: The Psychological Lens. In the realm of psychology, our thoughts, feelings, and assumptions form an intricate web of cause and effect with no clear beginning or end. The unawakened man is subject to psychological reactions devoid of spiritual foundations, unlike the spiritual man, who refrains from reacting to his own creations. To convey this psychological understanding, let me paint a vivid picture that will empower you to share this wisdom with others. Before we dive in, I want to express my gratitude for your presence and the love and support you've shown this channel. It's truly appreciated and not overlooked. Imagine this illustration through the lens of an unawakened man, a category encompassing 90% of the world's population, and then contrast it with the perspective of an awakened man. The number of awakened individuals is gradually decreasing, underscoring the importance of disseminating this information widely. The unawakened man perceives his thoughts as he would a menacing shadow, unaware that it originates from within. He grapples with an uncontrolled mind, oblivious to the possibility of disengaging from his inner speech. Consequently, the unawakened man experiences discomfort, worry, despair, and, most significantly, fear. This psychological process unfolds incessantly with every heartbeat. In each moment, focus on one thing reinforces an assumption, leading to a thought channeled from that assumption, culminating in a feeling. If fear dominates the channel, expect events that validate the fear. Conversely, a channel filled with love will attract experiences aligned with love. The unawakened man's mistake lies in unquestioningly